Julie, welcome. And thank you so much for joining me on the Mind Rebel Academy Facebook page and Instagram page, because it'll stream to Instagram as well. Julie is a pharmacist and health coach. She is also a student of the Mind Rebel Academy in this current cohort. We have a couple months left of your training. And I am so honored and thrilled to chat with you about your journey and to talk about this very unique perspective you have, because you have been a pharmacist for several years, turned health coach, turned now professional certified coach. And so I would love for you to share your journey about how this started for you.
Yeah, so thank you so much for inviting me. I'm so glad to be able to share my experience. So, why I added health coaching to being a pharmacist was very early in my career. I realized that medication wasn't the solution to everything, especially for chronic conditions where lifestyle habit had a big role to play in the evolution of the condition. So, knowing this and also feeling, I'll be honest, very frustrated with my inability to help my patients in the way that I felt was really significant to them. Because as I was sharing with you previously, when a healthcare professional, usually when they get into the profession, is because they have such a deep desire to help their patients regain their health and prevent diseases. And with the only tools that I had, the medication, I saw that it was very helpful. I still believe in conventional medicine.
Yeah.
At the same time, though, I just saw the limits especially when it came to my patients who had diabetes or high blood pressure, where nutrition and fitness and stress management just plays such a big role. So, seeing that I was lacking in these tools to really feel like I was creating an impact with my patients, I decided to get certified as a health coach in order for me to better counsel my patients in terms of whether it was nutrition or in terms of fitness, and allowing them to create I guess a healthier lifestyle, basically, to be able to complement the medication that they were taking. And as I started practicing with actually one-on-one clients, so outside of my pharmacy role, but really just as a health coach, I saw the value of all the knowledge that I had accumulated in terms of what food to eat, or how to better improve your diet or your fitness. But there was a component that I felt was still missing, and that component often related to self-sabotaging habits whenever people had tendency to have emotional or stress eating, or even when they had resistance around implementing a plan that they initially agreed to. They'd always find something that kind of comes in their way, and they wouldn't be able to know, okay, why am I doing these things? Why am I not doing the things that I know I should, be doing, or that would really benefit me? So there was all that component of resistance that I was kind of bumping up against, and both myself and my clients were bumping up against, and I was trying to figure out, how can I better help them? It was always from that lens of, how can I just better help these either patients or my personal clients? And that is where, personally for me, I started to be on the lookout for a life coaching school who could give me the skills to better, one, become a better coach, but also two, to better help my clients. And I was on the lookout, say, for maybe a good year. And while I admire so many of these different schools, I felt there was either very masculine energy to them, either like just way too businessy, or it was all about a lot about mindset. And obviously the mindset part is so valuable in the belief. But what really drew me to the Mind Rebel Academy, when I was introduced to it by Diana Eskander, who was an MRA alumni, but she was also my love coach at the time, was your really emphasis on the idea of embodiment and the role that our emotions and our feelings play. Especially for me, I'm somebody who always tunes into my body before making any decision. And depending on how my body feels, whether it feels contracted or it feels really expansive, I take those cues to know, okay, should I jump in? And when I was introduced to the MRA and when I had my first call with you, it was, my whole body was kind of screaming, yes, do this. It just felt so expansive that I knew had to I had to jump in. I knew that the MRA was the school that would allow me to develop my practice where now I call in my health coaching practice, it's a holistic but also loving and a loving approach, to health. And I feel that because of what the MRA represents, I'm able to kind of infuse this into my own practice.
So I just want to, first I want to echo back, when we are so intentional about the women we call into the MRA and the women that we support. And our mission is to support women who have this innate desire to be of service, this innate desire to fulfill their life's work in helping others. And so when we find that right fit, you're talking about how your whole body was screaming yes. My whole body was screaming yes too when I was on that call with you, Julie, because your heart is just so, it's just in the right place of wanting to be of service and wanting to really refine your skills, refine your tools. Like that's what I really got from you, was you just wanted to take your coaching to a whole other level for your clients.
Mm-hmm.
And I love how you have been able to take your experience as a pharmacist, your experience as a health coach, now your experience in the kind of the certified professional coaching world, and blend all of these things together and create such a unique and incredible offering for your clients. So can you talk to us a little bit about how you work with clients?
Yeah. So overall, I serve my clients really in the domain of health, and I concentrate mostly on hormonal conditions. So whether that's pre-diabetes, diabetes, period problems, fertility, and also I started helping women who have more thyroid issues. And what not only do my clients they have those hormonal conditions, but they also have a component where they have, I would say, a more challenging relationship with food.
Mm-hmm.
And there's aspects of emotional eating or a lot of restrictive diets that they try and pass, very yo-yo. And they also have a very challenging relationship with their body. But how I work with them, so I do individual one-on-one programs with them. And I also have recently started a group program. And we blend really I call it the practical. So, okay, what is it in terms of the foods that's going to help nourish your body? How to create a fitness routine, how to manage stress, how to meal prep, all those more practical things. But there's also all of that, I would say that more, I call it embodying their nourished self. Really, how can they start developing a practice of self-acceptance for their body, which might eventually turn into self-love for their body? How can they develop a relationship with food that doesn't feel like they're being deprived, restrictive, or seeing it as either good or bad? Labels that we tend to put on food. How can they see it in a way that's extremely nourishing, and that also helps remove the guilt, and maybe the guilt and the shame that they might have around their eating patterns that they have perhaps learned during their upbringing. So just allowing to blend those two, the really practical, but also it's a difference of mindset, but also I guess self-love into the mix. It's really, for me, I see it as creating a really sustainable but also enjoyable way of improving their health.
Mm. How have the skills that you've learned in our training helped you in your coaching world, in your coaching practice?
Yeah. So when I first started as a health coach, I was I was doing a lot of the planning and offering the steps to my clients, and obviously always this validating with them that it's felt like something that was feasible for them, that they could implement in their own schedule. However, what with the skills that the MRA has provided me with, and that allows me a learning ground for, it really helps me and the client address their, what I had mentioned in the beginning, that resistance of the self-sabotaging habits. Why is it that they go on these yo-yo diets? Why is it that whenever they feel stressed, they turn to their foods? And just to really help the client, either one, identify the, I guess you can call it the root cause, or the source of why they're turning towards food for a certain reason, or why they have a certain relationship with food, and being able to rewrite a new narrative, whether a new narrative around their relationship with food, a new narrative around how they feel about their body, or even in the way how they talk about themselves. Because it's very common for my clients who've tried many, let's say, different diets in the past to say like, oh, I have no self-discipline, I have no willpower, and just to say really negative things like about themselves.
Right.
Exactly. So by with tools that I've learned with my Rebel Academies, allowing them to really create like a really safe, non-judgmental space for my clients to almost like be able to bring awareness to their current patterns, to see why is it that they're behaving that way in again, a very non-judgmental way, and giving them the power back to change how they want to reframe,
Mm.
these different aspects of their life. So I feel that is one of the tools, or one of the ways that learning these tools with the MRA has really helped, I guess, up level my own practice, but also really help my clients see and bring that awareness. And again, once they have that awareness, it seems like it just so many things just opens up in their own minds. And it's just so much more powerful than if I was to just kind of tell them, oh, this is your problem, or this is why you're doing it. Just allowing them to discover that on their own is just so much more powerful.
Yeah, it's almost like this shift of prescribing the solution, like this is what you need to do to get to here, and really opening up almost like Pandora's box of, what is at the root of these behaviors, and how do we look at that so we can help transform that, which is at the very root of these kind of these surface level behaviors.
Yeah.
um, Julie, so for people who are watching this and who are fascinated by the work that you do, and perhaps even seeing themselves or wanting to work with you, how can people work with you? How can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so if they are active on Instagram, that's where I spend most of my time, publishing content and giving free tips. That's at Julie Doan Health.
Okay,
And
and
if
I will post that in the comments so that people can follow you there.
exactly, and if not through my website, it's also Julie Doan Health, all in one word.com.
Beautiful. And Julie, for anyone watching, we have the next round of Mind Rebel practitioner and coach training, which is a coach training series, begins in today's Wednesday, in next Thursday. So in 8 days. Gosh, I can't believe it. And we still have a couple spots left. So for anyone interested, I'm going to put our booking link to chat with our team. If you're feeling the call, and if you're feeling like, you want to step into your life's work as a coach, or perhaps you're already coaching like Julie was, and you're looking for a school to really help you hone your skill set and take your coaching to the next level. So book your call so that we can have a conversation about whether or not the MRA is a good fit for you. Julie, for anyone watching this who is feeling that pull but on the fence, do you have any words of wisdom to share?
So, I mean, I would just maybe share my own experience. Like, again, because I was coaching before, I was wondering, okay, is this something that I need or not? And I just decided, even just for my own personal growth, it just would be so worth it to learn these skills for myself and apply them to myself. I personally have worked with several coaches in the past for my own um, personal things I was going through, and I know the power of coaching. So for me, just going into MRA, even if it was uniquely. And obviously I knew it would benefit my client, but even just for me, like I feel I am, and again, maybe this sounds cheesy, but I just feel like I am a different person. I am so much more solid in my own belief. I feel like, and even the people around me have noticed this kind of shift that has occurred by applying the tools on myself. So that is what I want to leave. Yeah, that's what I would want to share is that even just for yourself, this is such an investment that is worth it.
It is so much more than coach training.
Exactly. It's
It
just
is
not
like it's like personal growth on steroids.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. Julie, thank you so much for your time today, and thank you for sharing your heart with us and your work with us. Thank you for all of the beautiful work you do in the world and for the way that you impact your clients. The world is truly a better place with you in it.
Thank you so much, Taryn, for being my mentor, and thank you for the MRA.
It's my pleasure.